We are John and Ellie, the Barefoot Doctors. We lost our new Leopard 50 catamaran to fire, so we began our search for the perfect performance catamaran for sailing us around the world. After 4 decades of sailing experience, we are very clear about what we want. So join us as we explore new horizons, stretch the boundaries in yacht design, and build the ultimate catamaran. Jump on board for this adventure, and together, who knows what we can achieve? Because life is better barefoot.
Welcome back to another episode of Barefoot Doctors Sailing. We are on an 8,000-mile Atlantic crossing, and on the very first days, we are faced with a South Atlantic storm. So let's see how day 2 pans out. Okay, this is day 2 on the Atlantic crossing. The winds through the night have been consistently around 30 to 35 knots, then about 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. they kind of eased off a bit to about 23 to 28 knots, and that's what we've been sailing in for this morning. The seas are still pretty big, 4 meters or so. Coming from our beam, we're still broad reached with just Genoa reefed to the first reef point approximately, and no mainsail, so we're sailing along quite easily. We were doing a consistent 8 and a bit knots through the night, but with the wind easing off, we're just a little bit under that, I'm thinking, on average. But still, it's good speeds, 7 knots, 7.5 knots, and obviously we're still surfing down the wave sometimes. But these seas are still pretty lumpy, and the boat's rocking and rolling. And through the night, it was very noisy in the cabins, with the noise of the waves and the slapping and also the wind. The noise is something you should get used to, or would need to get used to really, but it's normal. So the waves against the hull, wind in the rigging, sometimes when the waves are breaking they roar and they as the top starts to break. So that's all normal stuff, and this isn't a big storm, just fairly strong winds, and fortunately we're heading in the right direction. We're going with it so that we're not having to bash our way into this, so that's nice. The sun's coming out at times, not for very long usually, but that's hopefully will put a bit of charge back in the batteries, because so far we ran the engines obviously until we got the wind yesterday. Then the engines have been off since, and we're still at about 78% after 15 hours of use. But good progress, really exciting. Sonia was a little bit seasick. She hasn't been on a big crossing like this before, but it is very rocky and it is quite uncomfortable. The swells are not in a nice parallel lines. There are some at one direction, some at another direction, because of the wind changing directions. So it's lumpy and unpredictable, and some steep drop off, so that's what catches people out. And also, if you start to read a book or work on the computer, often you get more sick because you're focused in on what you're reading, and that concentration of your brain makes you feel seasick. So if you start feeling seasick, just stop the book, go outside, get some fresh air, look at the horizon, or go to sleep. Go and close your eyes, lie in bed. So that's my advice from the doctor. We will talk about other remedies too later on.
a little wet back there.
Yeah, rain and wave.
Yeah.
Don't just being a cowboy.
Yeah, exactly right. Picture tells how it works. So long as I have the photo, it's fine. Oh, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Yeah.
And lovely way to take your photos for fish is all that you can do.
Hold it fast.
Because says, yeah, I'm taking you I take it like this and the fish.
Oh, look huge. Yeah. Hold it far. Yeah, hold it out in front. Oh, yeah.
So I'm sitting here doing my watch, and of course you have to scan the horizon for boats. But one thing you've got to be careful of is as the waves pass in seas like this, the waves rise so high, anything behind on the horizon is hidden. So you actually have to wait for the seas to calm down or go flat again so you can actually see the horizon. So let's look out there. See the waves out there blocking the horizon? And of course we go down and it's swell, and if there's other waves up high, you start to lose. Over there we would have lost the ship there. As I handed over to Mark this morning at midnight, there was a huge tanker, like 100-meter tanker with a very tall light, but every second wave it was hidden by the waves and we couldn't see it, so it only appeared for a short while, then it disappeared again. So if you are doing your watch and there are big waves, just give it enough time for the wave to sink. If you go very carefully and make sure you see the waves dying down. At night you can't see the waves in the distance, but you just do it slowly, I suppose is the secret.
I'm trying a new fall idea. Peanut butter on my oven.
Wow.
I've never had that before. But
I haven't either. Sounds a bit American.
actually it's not. I can guarantee it's not American.
I know the Americans put peanut butter on celery with raisins.
Oh, we do that. That's really good.
Yeah.
The only way you can get kids to eat celery is to put peanut butter on it.
Peanut butter on apples.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's good.
Breakfast of champions?
Yes, exactly. I'm going to try the peanut butter, but I think a splash of honey on top of the peanut butter might be quite the compliment. Find out.
I think there is one already open actually, but go ahead. Too late.
Now there's two.
Yeah, that's no big deal. It's not going to go off.
Bury that in there to melt it.
That won't do any good, will it? So
There we have
peanut butter.
Peanut
oats
butter and honey on oatmeal. Never tried this one before. New sailor recipe.
Okay guys, I hope you're enjoying this journey across the Atlantic. What I'd like to know from you guys, if you could put it in comments, is how much detail and how much of the uncut sort of footage are you wanting to see? Because there is an awful lot of footage. A lot of people really enjoy seeing the mundane everyday stuff. So do you want uncut videos showing the everyday stuff? And please let me know if that is the case. Do you want us to make longer videos with less cutting and more full running clips of what's going on? So thanks for that, and I look forward to getting your feedback. See you guys, all the best. The water spout. Waves coming, going northwards, and the waves going eastwards and meeting each other in the middle, causing these spikes like that. Okay, the little yellow arrow says wind speed, wind blowing 24, 25, but because the wind speed dropped from sort of 28 and 30 down to 25, 22 to 25, we decided to put up the mainsail just on the second reef. Now the thing is, we're expecting a much stronger winds later tonight, again 30 to 35 knots according to the forecast. So although we could have put up more sail now, it would have probably meant we had to reef later on. So in the interest of ease and practicality, we've put up the second reef now, and even at that we're doing good speeds, 7 and 8 knots, so 8.5, 8.3. So we're pretty happy with that, but I do want to show you how Paul does this. And here I am with no wet weather gear on, because we've been doing all that work and I'm absolutely sweating like a pig, so I'm taking my jacket off. However, the mainsail is on the second reef, and there's a few really important points here. He lets the mainsail or the boom out, the sail is just not touching the shroud, so as close as you can get it to the shroud but not touching the shroud to avoid wear and tear. We've got another 13 or 1400 miles to sail, and we don't want that sort of time frame of the sail rubbing on the shrouds. And then he puts on these preventers. Now I would normally have just put on 2 preventers, but he knows what he's doing, so he actually puts on 3 preventers. You see one going from the end of the boom to the cleat in the middle of the boat, one going straight down to the cleat on the back of the boat, and the third one going down to the cleat on the transom of the boat. Obviously he attached these lines with slip knots and bow lines before we actually let the boom out, because it would have been completely impossible otherwise. So all of this process was done with a lot of prior planning and organization. So those 3 black lines, mooring lines, were on the boom and it was centered up. We let the boom out to the right point, locked off the main sheet, then tightened the preventers, and then just double checked that everything was working. We had quite a lot of hard work, and this is kind of the reality of sailing. So you see the other part of the sail just flat down completely, and the first reef line rope was dangling down around the life raft level. So obviously we had to take up the slack on the reef line, but there was still sail hanging out the side, so we tightened in the reef line progressively, but we weren't able to actually get it to go into the boom bag properly. But given we'd already tied the preventers on, it was too dangerous, and it's really not going to make any difference anyway, so we're accepting that little bit of sail is outside the boom bag, but it shouldn't make any difference. Paul says with this setup, this handles up to 40 knot winds, so he's happy to sail in 40 knot winds with a double reef main. He says rather than dropping the main and having just Genoa, it actually gives the boat more balance and it handles it very well. He also says that with this it sails better in like 20 to 25 knots than a boat with only 1 reef in, because that makes them a bit overpowered. He also reckons that this allows your autohelm to work with less effort. You waste less power of making it work, because you've got a bit of sail in front of the mast, a bit of sail behind the mast, so that balance is there and you're not got such force on your rudders. So that is how to run downwind in strong winds with a double reefed mainsail and minimum fuss. Now the other point I should mention is he pulls these reefing lines in tight and then lets the main sheet off, so that there's no strain on your main sheets and your main sheet doesn't wear out. He is allowing the mooring lines to wear out because they cheapen, no, they're not horrible, they're lovely, but they cheapen as sacrificial, let's say. So quite a few little pointers there which are very interesting actually, and very sensible. He's done this a lot, so he knows his stuff. So yeah, I hope that was useful for you all, guys. remember to like, subscribe and ding the bell. And of course, if you appreciate what we do, sign on to Patreon. It's on the Patreon page under Barefoot Doctors Sailing. All money goes to charity, so hopefully we can have more of you on board supporting that worthwhile charity that saves lives around the world. So here we are, sharing all this information with you guys, and I really hope that some of you can make use of that information and save your sheets and save your reefing lines and sail more safely. So Paul's very generous with this information, and I would like to give him an official vote of thanks for all the information he's sharing with all of you guys for this whole trip. So okay, that's it for now. See you later.
There's a challenge there, you see. So we're sitting on the edge of that.
Yeah, it feels like it too. We're about to get into.
And I'm saying here from here on, like as we're sailing now, just
Straight up,
more or less straight up.
instead of getting into this.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Because from what I can see, this is going to curve down on us, and if you're gonna, so we can ride that up. Yeah, you see that strip of wind there, that is a strip of wind we want to catch. We don't want to get caught out here anymore. That's why we want to stick a little bit more closer to the coast to catch that. That's why I said if we were going to sail west, we can very easily land up in that loose strip there.
Yeah, it is. It's a Monday night. We're in it we're in it the whole night.
Yeah, well, at the moment, the way I looked at the route is to go further, just up north, stay in a band of wind, because from what I can see, there's a band of wind running up, and then wind coming down from the front coming in, so you're behind on that side, and then there's a big air, a quiet spot just below St. Helena, and then we want to be above it, so we'll be approaching St. Helena from the east. Normally approach it from the south or the southeast.
Okay guys, so it's my night watch again, so we rotate forward by one shift. So tonight I'm doing the 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock shift. I've been here for about 40 minutes. Okay, so I've wedged my cup of coffee with a bit of rope. We don't have non-slip on this section, so with the big waves the coffee was sliding backwards and forwards. We have the cap on so it doesn't spill, but then this is really what we see at night. The winches are really, we don't need to do very much with the winches, but all the ropes are ready to throw and drop if we need to. Wow, 28 knots apparent, a little gust, 29 knots. So nice steady speeds when you get a bit of a puff like that. Okay guys, so I thought people often want to know what it's actually like being out here in the middle of the night, and it's very variable. So today we have grey skies, cloud cover, so the moon, that's about a 3/4 moon, we can't see at all, so it's very dark. I cannot make the horizon out because we just have dark sea and dark sky, so I can't even see the horizon, and it's kind of misty and rainy, so we can really see very little, except when there were a couple of ships past as I came on watch. You could see that you can see the light, so we can see out when there are other ships, so it's not fog and we can see through the distance, but you look out into complete blackness, and apart from breaking waves you see nothing. It takes a bit of getting used to, I suspect. If you are new to it, you have to understand, you're looking at your screen for AIS markers, and you're looking at the front for lights of boats without AISs. But anyway, we're trucking along here. But that's just, you know, I'm squinting out into the darkness and seeing nothing, which is good because there's nothing there, but it's obviously much harder to see things when your visibility is impaired by lack of light. So on dark nights, rain clouds and rain fog makes it very much harder to be on duty. You've got to pay a lot more attention, you've got to be looking all the time because you don't get as much warning. But just thought I'd share that one with you. There's a bit of lighter sky over to the west there, so hopefully that's the back end of this little system. hopefully we'll see how we go. We should come out of it at some stage, but it's always hard to predict how long. It might be 3 hours, it might be 12 hours. Depends how fast they're moving, and it depends how wide the system is. So we just have to be patient and put up with it. But despite that, we're making really good speeds. 8 knots on average, I'd say, at least, or maybe a bit more on this ship. So anyway, we'll keep plodding along. I heard a thump. Might have been something inside. I'll go downstairs and check, make sure everything downstairs is fine. Catch you later.
Thanks for watching, guys, and if you like what we do, show us the love and hit the like button, then hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well, so you don't miss out on your regular fix. Then kick off your shoes and you can come barefoot with us.